All right, Grant, pre-show shenanigans. Very timely pre-show. This honestly might not be relevant next episode, but so obviously, TikTok was TikTok was banned for all of 12 hours. But
I don't
TikTok,
even know if it got 12 hours.
I don't know, but TikTok is actually banned on the App Store. Like you can't go and download it.
Yes, yeah,
So
yeah.
currently, people are selling. It's like the same deal with like Flappy Bird, where people were
Flappy
selling their
Bird.
phones with Flappy Bird installed. If you don't know what Flappy Bird is, you're probably way too long to listen to this podcast, by the way. But it's like that. So people are on eBay selling their phones. Like I've seen, I was just checking it out. I was curious. There's people selling them for like an iPhone 12 is like $800. Like 12. We're on 16 right now. 12. All right. An iPhone 15 is like, I saw one for like $12,000. I saw somebody listing a 16 for $1 million. So my question to you, Grant, is how much would you have to get paid to give somebody your iPhone right now who really want a TikTok? By the way, if you're willing to pay thousands of dollars to have TikTok, something is seriously
Yeah,
wrong
no,
with
that's
you.
crazy. If
Seriously,
someone were
if
willing,
you are paying that much, make sure you're following at Waterboy Pod though. Just make sure you're following at Waterboy Pod. Then
I'll
it's
be
worth
honest,
it.
if
Then it's worth
if
it.
someone was willing to pay me uh whatever like the 24-month contract for the new phone is, I would do that. Let me go get my new phone tonight.
Well, I was gonna say if you're
if
gonna
someone were
part
to
it,
pay off my full next phone, I'll give you this phone
well, I
and
was
not
gonna
have
say
TikTok on my next phone. That's a
honestly,
key part. I won't have
the
TikTok on my new phone.
the smart play here is for your mental health. It's probably better for you too to also get rid of TikTok. So, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, no, no,
for
no.
100%.
And this doesn't mean the Waterboy pod is canceled. This just means the unnamed intern has a
Oh
lot
yeah,
more on
yeah, he
his
has a
plate.
lot more work to do.
I'll just
A
be sending
very,
him the clips and he does it all.
yeah,
So
yeah. No, he's been
in
kind of
all of
behind the
that
eight ball
sense,
on that bit.
you know what? Actually, now that I think a little bit more, I would.
Well, here's
I'm also thinking down the line, like, I mean, it's gonna be back on the App Store before you even know
that's
it. So
that's
with
why I
that
said
also
this
in
might not be
mind,
relevant in the
no, yeah,
next three
I would.
days.
If someone were to pay off 1 year of a new phone contract, I'd do it
Yeah,
right
I guess
today.
I can't. I don't know
I'll be
which
off
phone
TikTok
you
for four
have right
months or
now because
whatever.
I have the new
I don't even
phone.
know. I don't even
I
know.
know
Let me
because
see.
I like this was my upgrade. Like I just got this phone. I had my last phone for like 6 years.
I have an iPhone 13.
Okay, so then it makes sense for
Is
you
that
to want
how
to. I
old?
have a 16, so
So
I'm
I'm
guessing
quite a bit
you're old.
behind.
My
I
last
haven't
phone. Hey,
noticed
to be
a
fair,
single
my last
problem with this
phone,
phone.
I just upgraded from an iPhone 12 though. Like I got this one like
Yeah.
a couple
No, no.
months ago.
I
So
mean,
I've had an old phone, so I get it. I
yeah.
really the only reason I upgraded
I
was because
will
of the new
say though,
charger. But this was my
it
point.
is
So like
well, no, that's
for
my
you,
biggest
it makes
problem.
sense because they're basically just giving you a new phone. For me, I was gonna say because
Yes.
I have the new phone, I'd be like,
Oh yeah.
I want to
Yeah. No, you got
I
no
need to
gain.
profit. You need to, I have
Yeah.
to
No. No.
be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
new phone and profit.
No. Yeah. I think for you, what the deal is, if someone were to first buy out the cost of that phone, and then on top of that, the contract that
Then yeah, I guess I can't hear you right now. I can't hear you right now. Can't hear you right now.
accidentally
Mute
thumb went over
button.
the thing
Mute
again.
button. Yeah, mute button.
But
It's always
no, yeah,
something.
anything less than that value, you would not do it.
See,
For five
this is what I
dollars
was gonna
less,
say.
you would not
So
do it.
what I would say, I don't know what the exact
Actually, you
price
might.
is.
Actually, I think you should do it if
I
you
think
made $5 less total on this. If you had to pay
I
five
don't
dollars for your
know
new phone contract, I think you should do it.
I don't know how much a new phone, like the new phone costs. Like I'm guessing it's probably somewhere around $1,000 because that's how much they
No, yeah,
typically
it's all
do.
like
But
they're all like based on contracts with your provider, so they're
yeah,
weird.
if somebody walked up to me right now and was like, let's assume the price of this phone is $1,000, and they're like, I will give you $3,000 right now for your phone because it has TikTok, I would say, let me delete my personal information. Here you go.
Oh yeah,
If
yeah,
somebody
yeah. You
walked
know,
up to me and was
assuming
like,
all that. Yeah, no,
if
yes,
somebody walked up to me
yes.
right now and said, hey, I'll give you $10,000 just for give me your phone, I'd say, all right, you can just have it all. Let me delete a couple things. You can take my phone. You want to talk to my contacts? Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Let me delete yeah, no, 10K up front, and you have 5 minutes with that phone before you have to give it over. I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'm also just speed
In
running
five
through as many
minutes, I
things as
can
I could
get rid
do.
of
A lot of
anything I need
stuff.
to get rid of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really know
Yeah, if
how
you
it
give me
works,
5 minutes,
but yeah,
oh yeah, give me
you
10K.
could
Give
get
me
the phone for
5K.
10K. Yeah.
If you're giving me 5K, 5 minutes, oh yeah. Let's go K
That's
per minute. Okay.
K per
K
minute.
per mininute. Okay.
Well, no,
Let's do
it's gotta
that.
be inverse because if you're
Oh,
saying 3K in
shit.
3 minutes,
No,
so
you're right. You're right. Yeah,
inverse
that didn't make
ratio.
sense.
It's an
Yeah, no,
inverse
that didn't make
relation.
sense.
5K would still
Okay.
be 5K though on that scale
All right.
technically.
Okay. Real
So
quick, let's set the
you'd
barometers
have
on the
10
scale.
minutes for 1K,
A
I
scale
guess.
to like 1 to 20. So you could spend 20 minutes, get 1K, or 1 minute, get 20K. Should it be, is that the inverse scale? 1
I
to
guess
20?
that would work. Yeah.
We'll do that.
We'll do that
And
scale.
I
If
would
you're,
take 20K
I mean,
for
either
1 minute.
way, 20K for a phone, unless it's made of gold.
Even if it's made of gold, like it's just a very fine little gold paint around it. It's not actually made of gold. Like when they used to sell like the golden
They made the yellow
or
iPhones.
actually I'm pretty sure like Xbox or like I think they had like a gold PS5 giveaway. The thing isn't made out of gold. There's just like a gold tint
It's just
around
plastic.
it that has gold fragments in the tint, but it's not made out of gold. What the hell are you on? Only thing made out of gold is that toilet from that one Rick and Morty episode.
Oh, true. Very
That's
true. Or
the
Drake.
only
I think
like
Drake has one of those.
probably has a house made of gold. He probably owns an entire block in Toronto, and it's just the Drake block. There's just like 6 houses, all his. This is my whole block. I could see that, but how exactly? Where are we going with this pre-show? We just
I don't know. It was just how much would you be willing to sell your phone for TikTok? I guess.
no, I think that's where we would. I think that's where we would draw the line.
Now, if a phone has Flappy Bird still and TikTok, one, that's a really old phone. But two, that thing might be like that's like 200K. It's probably gone for like 200K.
So you know how when current day historians research, I don't know why I thought like ancient civilizations. We don't even need to go that far back. Just like if you were to go to a museum of like 1980s, 1990s America, they'd have like the popular things being used at the time.
Yeah.
If there's a museum of like 2010s, 2020s, will that iPhone have Flappy Bird on it? And that's what they're showing. Like this game was so like, will they?
What
will
year was it? It had to be like 2013,
a Flappy
right?
Bird paragraph in a textbook on iPhones.
Oh, for culture, yeah.
There's a paragraph.
There's a blurb. There's at least a blurb.
There won't be multiple. Yeah.
There's a blurb. Just being like the hottest thing when like the App Store was taking off and all this stuff.
Flappy Bird, Candy Crush, Temple Run,
Fruit Ninja,
Angry Birds,
Fruit Ninja's in there, Subway Surfers, Tower Defense, or is that just a me?
Pocket God,
Pocket God, definitely in there.
Balloons.
I'm saying Balloons.
That's a little more internet, not necessarily iPhone.
I mean, it wasn't an app.
Though. No, yeah, it's now known as like the iPhone game. But
now, if we really want to go back, and go back,
what is addicting games? Addicting games.
If we really want to go back,
Defense
we go Age of War, Grant. That if we're going really far back, right. Age of War.
And that one baseball juiced game where if you typed in the cheat code, you get to do steroids and test clear. Oh yeah. That everyone knows what I'm talking about. Everyone knows.
I hope so.
Like everyone knows what I'm talking about there. You just got it off of steroid addicting games, baseball game. You know exactly what I'm talking
the
about.
stick, the doodle stick, like animate, like those games. The stick guy game. I don't remember what they're called.
Ooh, I know exactly. You just unlocked a memory for me.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
They have
exactly.
If you know what you should
those
just saying that you should know what we're talking about. As long as you're
you
old
should.
enough.
Yeah, you should have just unlocked a core memory for everybody right there. But I think that's gonna do it. That's about as good of a pre-show it can get right there. We just covered everything, everything other than sports, like how the unnamed intern intended the pre-shows to be. But all right, without further ado. Snaps, boys. Remember, new protocols here. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. It is episode 288. And Josh Allen and Damar Hamlin, they are our only hope. as a NFL collective community, the Chiefs aren't in that NFL collective community. They're stormtroopers, they're Darth Vader, so they're their own subset of evil. But as a collective group of 31 NFL teams and their respective fans, we 31 fan bases must come together, and we need to do everything possible to ensure the Kansas City Chiefs lose this football game. We need to do everything possible. Do it for Josh Allen. 2 or 3 years ago, when what was it, 33 seconds? Was that too much time for Mahomes?
Yep. Something like that.
I'll never get over that one. That one hurts a lot. I heard that. And the Georgia kick. Up there forever. Up there forever. But
I have 38-7, so. And Brett Favre.
Well, I'm just talking heartbreak, last second moments.
The Brett Favre pick was last minute.
If the Saints Minneapolis miracled you, that's what I'm talking about.
That's basically Brett Favre.
Okay, I'll be honest. The Brett Favre Vikings years have been omitted from my memory. I know they existed, but I cannot confirm any events that happened during that period of time.
Found again.
I know it existed, could not describe any part of it.
All right, hey, fair. I mean, let's hypothesize. I guess not. Let's theorize this. So
we can theorize.
Right? First of all, if the Chiefs are Darth Vader, well, I guess put Mahomes is Palpatine in this scenario, or would that be Goodell? And then Mahomes is Vader.
Okay, Goodell's still Palpatine. Mahomes is Darth Vader. Andy Reid is Grand Moff Tarkin.
If you know, you know, by the way. If you know, you know. The referees are the stormtroopers, by the way. Now, in this situation, are they the royal guards? They're the royal guards. That's what they are.
No, yeah, we're talking.
Yeah, they're the royal
operators
guards.
of the TIE fighters, royal guards too.
But if they're the Empire, does that mean the Eagles are what's the one in the
wait? We have to figure out real quick who's Boba Fett on the Chiefs, because it's definitely not Kelsey. Who's Boba Fett? We got to figure this one out.
Neutral evil, right. I guess, is what it would be.
All right. Wild card. Boba Fett is Creed Humphrey. Silent killer. Doesn't ask for anything extra. Doesn't make any noise. He stays in the shadows, but he just mauls and just absolutely destroys.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Ooh, that one. Okay, let me think of a slightly popular. Pacheco.
Creed Humphrey is the Sarlacc pit. Let's get that right.
Yeah, no, Creed. Okay, Creed Humphrey is the Sarlacc pit. Yes. George Karlaftis. I think George Karlaftis.
He's Bosk.
Is now actually that's it. I was gonna say I was gonna say holy shit. I'm blanking.
Wait,
we're throwing this back to the Clone Wars. Asajj Ventress. All right. I was thinking of just random.
That's Taylor Swift.
Like a Grievous, Count Dooku. Like.
Well, Kelsey is Dooku and Asajj Ventress is Taylor Swift. So I
think Tyreek Hill is Darth Maul. You know, he's technically gone, but he's going to come back in like 2 years, and he's still alive. God, I'm just Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, you know what? We can have fun on this podcast. We can talk about. We can be a little nerdy with some football, right? But I'm just trying to think. What's it called in Oh, that's what it is. So if the Chiefs and Goodell are the Empire, that would make the Eagles the first order in the new movies. That's the comparison we were drawing here. Both are just horrible, but one is clearly worse than the other one. But I guess better. I don't know the way
we have to label that. Nick Sirianni. Is Nick Sirianni like Kylo Ren, or
no? He's like Hux. He's like the really crappy captain.
That's the guy's name. That's the name. That's
the guy.
That's
Palpatine
Sirianni.
is still there. It's
Big
still Goodell.
Dom. Who's Big Dom? No, big no, no, okay. Big Dom's Emperor Palpatine.
No. It still have to be
Big
Goodell because
Dom
he makes it.
secretly
He's
runs the
Snoke.
Chiefs.
He's Snoke. That's getting
Ooh,
ran by Goodell.
that is it. That is it. Damn, even Big Dom, down to Big Dom. We got labels for everybody.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess that
Saquon would
makes
have to be. He'd have to be
I
Kylo.
think yeah, no, that makes the Chargers the Cantina band. We are the
By that
Cantina band.
analogist, yeah, yeah. That's who's the Rancor in this scenario? Just one entity is the Rancor. That's Miles Garrett.
Oh yeah, yes,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Some entities are just one player.
They're just one individual.
Like Bears Roquan Smith could have an entire entity to himself. Not current or yeah, no, not current. Talking like year 2 Roquan Smith. I'll never forget one tweet, and it said, put Jon Snow on the dragon in the air and Roquan Smith on the ground, and not a single White Walker would get through. Roquan Smith, you know how much lateral that man can cover?
Oh,
Are
dude.
you kidding me?
See,
you know
Mahomes
horizontal ground that man covers. Oh,
Mahomes as Vader
no
also works because when Tom Brady was there, he was in his Anakin Skywalker phase. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, look, he's the savior. He's coming to dethrone the GOAT. He's coming in," and then he, converted to Darth Vader. And now everybody is like, it's the same.
Realistically, Mahomes is just, if Thanos entered the Star Wars universe, is just like, I'm taking this over. That's Mahomes. Just like, yep, snap my fingers, half of it gone. Booyah. Welcome to Mahomes land. Yeah, no, he's Thanos. But Jeremiah Smith is the 4th ring stone in that gauntlet. That's Jeremiah.
If he goes to the Chiefs, okay. You don't want to think about that.
I was saying
you threw things out into the universe, Grant.
I was just thinking because this light coming through the
I know, I see that here. I see that.
I need to quickly close these blinds real quick. I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna have to be away from the mic for a second. But shit, yeah. I had a really funny comparison I was about to bring up. Try to just say the last 2 sentences you said before I took over, so I could remind myself. Go.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't exactly know what we were talking about. We were just talking about. Honestly, I don't know. We were talking about Darth Vader. I kind of was letting you go that way. Really playing with the blinds over there. It's not much better. Not much better. I think not much better. You just sit in front of it. I think you put your hand over the mute button again.
Yeah, that was another issue that I just had right there. Oh, this is what I was saying. Okay. I was thinking about it.
Jeremiah Smith.
It hasn't sunk into me yet. This Ohio State team, they're still Ohio State players in my, until the NFL draft combine, they are still college football players for Ohio State. The second the draft combine begins, they are now NFL draft prospects. Fair?
Yeah. Yes.
Am I still allowed to treat them as Ohio State players until that combine? I think that's fair.
Yes, but they are technically now on sleeper as potential draft players for the rookie class. Shit. So
to be honest, that actually is the barometer on every sleeper.
It is kind of.
Can we extend? I
think you're in a gray area
when they put the rookie pictures in, but they don't do that till like week 1 of preseason. So they're
in a little bit of a gray area right now. I think you can still count them as Ohio State players until draft day. At least until their pro day. Once their pro day is done, because here's the thing. I'll tell you from firsthand experience, those guys are still in the building. They're working out at Ohio State. Yeah. They're still in it. As long as they're in the building, yeah. But after pro day, I mean, you get real close to draft day. At that point, they might. They might go their separate ways.
As long as their name is assigned to a seat in one college course, I know none of them are going to if you think Jack Sawyer is attending a class, no. What? I also am not sure if Jack Sawyer graduated as a senior, so I think he's going to leave with like 8 units left and just not get the degree.
You know what? He doesn't need to.
Super baller.
He doesn't need to.
And also, Jack.
Although if he is a bust in the NFL, he might need to go back to complete that degree.
Well, no. I'm just anything in Columbus for the rest of his life is free.
True. He will 100%.
He will never need to pay for a meal in Columbus.
I will say, if you have a very high impact on your team, you are more likely than not going to always have a job offer available with
Stetson Bennett. He can stay in Athens for life.
Now it's like the same
run
thing.
The most
like
successful
JT Barrett
sales service ever.
JT Barrett, Cardale Jones, both have prevalent.
Cardale more so. Cardale's the best example.
Yeah.
Cardale's literally the head of Ohio State NIL only because he won the Natty. If he didn't win that Natty, you would never hear from him for the rest of your life. But because of that, he's head of Ohio State NIL.
Like, I'm trying to think, who is there a player? You're gonna have to do this for me because I don't know.
Also, you're gonna.
I don't know how.
You may need to check this. I just need you to look up Cardale Jones' Twitter followers. It is significantly more than any Ohio State player in the NFL.
I wanna do this. You're gonna have to help me with this because I'm not an Ohio State fan. I barely know half the play. I know some starters, right? Like, I'm not in depth. Obviously, same thing with Viking, whatever. Yeah. Right? Has there been a performance where it's literally a one like random guy, but he just randomly had one really good performance that really, really mattered. And now because of that one performance, even this guy was like a fifth string before that game, then he just came out and balled. That one performance got him enough leverage to be like, hey, you ever come back to Columbus, we got you.
So obviously this example is a little bit different because this dude ended up going like 10th in the NFL draft and was like really good. But I'll never forget the 2018 Ohio State Michigan game. There was this really skinny receiver wearing number 17 who caught 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and then blocked a punt by the name of Chris Olave. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he just showed up, literally first offensive snaps in his college career against Michigan, just showed up, dominated. Like, my dad being like, who the hell is this guy? That's the only example I could think of, though.
I'm just trying to think really of a guy who literally when you needed it.
Actually, yes. Kenny Guyton, like 2013, Ohio State's playing Purdue. Braxton Miller gets hurt at like third quarter, fourth quarter. At this time, Ohio State is losing to Purdue. Okay. Purdue, Everett. Ohio State was losing to Purdue. And backup quarterback Kenny Guyton comes in, converts like 2 4th downs, last second drive to win, last second touchdown. But scale of things, it's Purdue. And it's like,
now,
ultimately, no. The answer is no.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't think of anyone.
But that's the only thing. Cardale came in and he wasn't the starter at the start of that season, correct? When he came in, he came in late.
Third string.
This is what I'm saying. For Cardale, obviously a little bit different, but let's just say, like, for that run that he won, right? That they won, because that was the year. Was the year they won? Was the year he came in late? Correct. Okay.
Yep.
Let's say after that, he still played afterwards. After that, that's it, right? You cut it there. He doesn't play anymore. Just that little run alone, playing well when they needed it, give him money. Or not money. He'd get a job for that. That's my point. More so just like, you got a random guy, not expect to do anything, just comes in.
The year after, Urban was picking like JT Cardale, who's going to be the starter, was the storyline all offseason. I think Urban screwed that up badly. Everett, I want you to take a guess. When do you think Urban Meyer not only informed JT and Cardale, but his entire team of who's going to be the starting quarterback for that season? Do you know when he informed everybody?
The first game. They have the first game.
Literally 5 seconds before kickoff of the opening game.
Yeah.
Not even JT, or they split snaps. Not even the fucking OC knew. All right, Urban.
But here's the point. Like,
who's going to be the starter?
It's the same thing. Like, NFL's a little bit different.
My point was Cardale was awful that year, and he's still job for life in Columbus.
And NFL is obviously a little bit different, but I think especially in college football, no matter what, if you just have a guy, you have one guy comes out
Johnny
and
Manziel.
He plays not even like that. It could be literally one game, like Tua. Let's say Tua comes in the national championship and wins that game and never plays another snap for Bama.
Oh yeah,
job for life in Tuscaloosa. If you ever want to come back and say, hey, I want a job, they'd be like, we got you. That's the kind of
Yeah.
things that happen in college. Doesn't necessarily happen in the NFL, but in the NFL,
No.
let's say,
Yeah, that's
let's
college,
say Stephon Diggs. It was not Stephon Diggs who did the Minneapolis Miracle. Let's say it was who's a less prevalent receiver at that point.
Wait, I was gonna agree with you, but Big Dick Nick and Philly, they treat him like God still. And he literally just came in for the playoff run.
Well, I'm about to say that I'm about to get there with the NFL. I'm saying if it's not Stephon Diggs, let's say it's like a fifth string, because Stephon Diggs obviously was good. Nick Foles just came in and won the bowl, right?
I think also the Cardell Jones, it's quarterback.
My point was going to be
Super Bowl team will be.
If let's say if instead of Stephon, I'm trying to think of who a random wide receiver would have been in 2017. Let's say it was Stacey Coley.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Let's say it was Stacey Coley, who was a 7th round pick to the Vikings. I don't think he ever started a game. He played in the preseason, right? Let's say Stacey Coley came in and he was the guy who did the Minneapolis Miracle. He's
be legend for life.
Legend for life in Minneapolis. Would be able to eat wherever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just it's one play, but it's when it matters. That's more so in the NFL, but in college, that would get you a job back. And the NFL probably doesn't get you a job, but it probably gets you free food and some free bars.
NFL, you won't need to pay for a dinner.
Yeah, no.
Out. You won't
Case
need to do
Keenum.
that.
Case Keenum's the same situation as Nick Foles. No matter if Case Keenum ever comes back to Minneapolis,
that's even matter.
It. He will forever be valued by Minneapolis.
I would also say that a slight difference with college is that for in Athens, Georgia, Stetson Bennett, that's not, it's a college town, college city.
It's smaller.
And, because of that, it's Georgia football is the only thing that matters in Athens, Georgia. So because of that, Stetson is allowed back. I'm not lying when I say he would not only create, but he would easily operate the most successful car sales company in the history of Athens, Georgia. I know he would do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's also the biggest thing that you said. Obviously, I mean, the towns are smaller. That's the biggest thing. But also the programs value that kind of stuff more than I think teams do, because there's way more turnaround in teams.
Matthew Stafford in LA. Will Matthew Stafford have free dinners for the rest of his life? No. If anything, when the restaurant finds out Stafford's coming, they're like, oh, sweet, he's gonna give us a bigger tip tonight.
Yeah.
Literally, no.
Well, clearly Detroit doesn't even care about him anymore at all. So I mean, clearly there's less.
LA is actually a good example. Freddie Freeman.
But I also
2 years doesn't need to pay.
I also do think,
but I think after 5 years, Freddie has to pay.
I do also think it's different, regardless if it's NFL or college. The big market, areas like Los Angeles, USC is not giving Reggie Bush a job. USC is not giving Mark Sanchez. USC is not giving
Reggie
Matt
Bush.
Lambert
Literally
a job.
The other day said I want to be coach. To be head coach of USC football one day.
And they probably laughed at him.
He has to publicly say that because USC probably read that and was just is he actually serious? He's not serious, right?
Obviously,
that was probably the reaction.
Obviously Josh Rosen's going to Wharton, and there's absolutely no reason. You get to go to Wharton for your MBA, you're going to Wharton. Let's clarify that. But I highly doubt that UCLA was yo, come get your MBA here. We value you so much for what you did for the program. Come get your MBA here. I doubt that happened. There was no display of love there. And even the NFL, those teams are so big, or the markets are so big, they're they're not going to care. Texas, I doubt, TCU, I highly doubt whatever area, Duggan might be able to get a job at TCU. Quinton Johnston, absolutely not. Johnston, absolutely not. But those markets are so much bigger.
Okay, here, how about this? When it's all said and done, I think he's living quite comfortably right now, so I don't think he needs to. But Andy Dalton never needs to pay for another meal in that area near TCU for the rest of his life.
No. Case Keenum probably doesn't ever have to pay for anything in Houston either, because he drafted the Texans, set records at Houston. Same kind of deal there. That's a little bit lower.
Yeah, I would say 50-50. Yeah, slightly there, but not quite like Hakeem Houston going from Houston to the Rockets.
Very true.
Hakeem, if he stepped outside in Houston, he would need a full fleet of black SUVs to guard him safely to where he needs to go.
Yeah, you know, one guy that
Like in
that actually
LA, the only athlete who has it was Kobe.
the one guy that actually probably is being forced to pay
I was
for
gonna say
things.
Shaq, but that's a nationwide thing. Shaq
Shaq
goes
also
anywhere and
pays
he's
for
mobbed.
Kobe. Like Shaq also would pay for Kobe too. But
Oh yeah.
the one guy that definitely is currently being forced to pay for things, like not even a question, is Quinn Ewers. If Quinn Ewers won with Texas, oh my God, he'd be gone for life for the entire state. But because of him, they're like, start Arch, why are you still here? Yeah, no, he's being forced to pay for things.
Yeah, it's
Arch,
a
on the
weird
other hand,
spot for them.
Arch probably, if Arch does well, Arch might be comp. But
He has to do well.
Vince
If
Young,
Arch,
Vince Young,
oh yeah,
comp for
never again.
life, comp for
Yeah.
life.
Never.
But I do think, just generally speaking, college athletes are more likely to be valued higher in areas than they are in NFL. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a player who wasn't really great in college, but like for whatever reason exceeded expectations in the NFL and is really good.
Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh. Does he need to pay for a dinner?
I bet you Central Michigan, like,
Oh
they don't
well,
really care.
I feel like no, yeah, like literally.
But like, that's my point
Central
is, like,
Michigan,
you have a guy,
he would never come here.
if the
again
guy
for the rest of his life.
just didn't do well in, like, unless like Adam Thielen, Mr. Minnesota, is a bit different. But if the guy just wasn't
like,
good in
if you're
college
on the
but somehow
team
was
for like
good in the
8 years, it's a
NFL,
little different.
if you weren't good in college but you were good in the NFL, I just don't think it's the reciprocity is the same. Like, the school might not be like, hey, you weren't, they might not give you
like, no, that
But
like,
I mean, we've been rambling. I want to get to the games because we haven't talked about the games yet. I want to get to the games.
This is like Aaron Donald. Do you think when he goes back to Pittsburgh to visit the Pittsburgh Panther,
no, because Pitt's a different situation, because Pitt also shares with Steelers, and I think with that situation, they're like, Rams care, like, hey, we value you, but it's not like all that. Like, Kenny Pickett, if Kenny Pickett was good,
oh yeah, no, he's
the
legend
town
for life.
Man of the
I think if Jordan Addison took a step in Pittsburgh, he'd get like stoned. Like,
wow. Wow.
Well, when he left and went to USC, like, you win a bullet in a cough with Kenny Pickett, and then you get $3 million at USC. So I mean, fight on. Am I right? Or am I right? But
hey, but all right, let's look at the games real quick, Grant. So the first game, I believe is the first game Bills Chiefs.
The first one has to be the Eagles game. There's no way they play the Bills.
It is 2 p.m. on Sunday is Commanders Eagles. That night is Bills Chiefs. We're gonna save the ritualistic stuff for after the Commanders game. So let's just talk about this game first. We always say, Grant, or at least I always say, we had some controversy about this midseason, but divisional opponents throw everything out the window. Everything you knew, all the momentum, everything, throw it out the window. These teams, this will be the third time they play.
Oh yeah, no, I'd say former years of this podcast, a much more trusted rule. For some reason this year, I did not follow that rule, but I'm so unbelievable. I need to stick to my roots. I said it last episode, but like, I'm picking the Commanders to win this.
So Grant, let's explain. Let's just look at some numbers here. When the Commanders played them first in Philly, the Eagles won 26-18. All right. The last time they played was in Washington. The Commanders won 36-33.
All right. No confirmation, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles had a double-digit lead at halftime for both of those games, and both of them ended up being.
So here's my thing.
Don't have confirmation on that, but if I remember correctly, I think the first one went that way.
Terry basically
he's crazy.
He like sunk Guantanamo Bay into the bottom of the ocean. Saquon is really the entirety of that offense. And I know that the Commanders' defensive line has not been particularly great this year. Obviously, they've been dealing with some injuries, but it hasn't been fantastic knowing the names that's on that line. But if they can stop Barkley, I have a better feeling that the Commanders can win this game than I do about the Eagles being able to win this game. I have very limited faith in Jalen Hurts in a deep playoff game. And also, I mean, I'm expecting Marshawn to be Marshawn. Like, if there's any time for him to be good, he's been okay this season. But like, this is one you step it up, and he looked pretty good last week. I think first half he was getting cooked a little bit, but second half he kind of locked it in against him on Raw. And I think if you can take him on Raw, AJ Brown is not much more difficult. So it kind of leaves Saquon and Devonta Adams as or Devonta Adams, Devonta Smith as like the two guys. So I think you just stack the box, Grant, and see what happens.
Yeah, like this is the thing. The Eagles, I'm thinking Ohio State, but like if I'm the Eagles, I am now AJ Brown's no Jeremiah Smith. Let me make that clear. But if AJ Brown ever in single coverage, you have to throw. Like you have to throw it to him. And the
Yeah.
one thing is, I don't trust Jalen Hurts to be making 50-50 single coverage fade balls down. No, I don't trust Jalen Hurts. Jaden Daniel, I was just thinking, um, are we ready to firmly say Jaden Daniel's best quarterback in the beast? I think I'm ready to say comfortably. Give me
Well,
Jaden
the
Daniels.
Giants don't have a
Contract, I don't care
quarterback.
about any of the contract.
Dak is hurt.
Pure ability. No, I healthy Dak. Like, give me Jaden Daniels. I think he's more talented than the other three, or at least he's playing like it right now.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably say overall yes,
Giants
but
don't have a quarterback.
I will
also, so
say,
there's that.
I will say though, like a lot of people have been like, who's like top five quarterbacks? Who's a like Jaden Daniels has to be number five, right? Like, there's not a quarterback better than him. The only thing I'm gonna say on all
I'm
that
not gonna say
is,
he's fifth, but yeah,
well, it's still top 10 either way, which may or may
yeah,
not be
yeah,
true.
top 10.
May or may
Yeah,
not be true.
yeah.
Um, but I'll just say this is very similar to the CJ Stroud last year's situation. And I mean, everybody kind of obviously he had a sophomore slump this year, so it's a bit different. But I think everybody needs to take things with a grain of salt. Like, we might say this right now, but next year could be a different story. And I think, yes, right now, Jaden Daniels is probably the better quarterback of the bunch, especially given his situation. But they did also just lose their, I believe, their right guard. Samuel Cosme is out for the rest of the season. So
I did see that. Okay,
that might be
yeah,
a
I'm
little tough
taking.
going against Jalen Carter.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a quick gander right now at team win rates. And Philly, one of the few teams that are top 10 in everything. Pass rush, run stuff, pass block, run block. They're top 10 in all four front seven metrics. Washington on the O line, they're top 10 in both. So Washington's O line overall now, they just have that guard injury that could shake things up. But for Washington's D line, they're top 10 in pass rush, bottom 10 in run stuff, which, you think the Eagles Saquon, that doesn't exactly sound great. But I just see this being, even if the Eagles go up early, I feel the Commanders will get back in the game, and I feel like it'll be a one-score game in the fourth, late third. And if that's the case, give me Jaden Daniels. I trust him to go score more than Hurts.
I do think this is a different situation because it's not a team that's like not played outdoors, not hasn't played in the cold. Like, they just played in the cold. Like, they can. I mean, they just be
Oh yeah,
honestly
I'm
the
not even
Commanders.
worried
The
about
Commanders
it.
just dismantled what would be considered the best team in the NFC in the playoffs. So I mean, if you can do that, they got to be riding real high off that, and like that's a lot of momentum. The Eagles, on the other hand,
Yeah,
almost just lost the Rams.
yeah,
So
yeah. No. I mean, Eagles have been on the down
yeah,
track since Jalen Hurts got concussed. Literally, that
I mean
moment
that was
is
also
when.
a real like a he. I don't know what's wrong with him right now. Like, that had to be a
Yeah,
pretty
he's
bad concussion.
probably. Yeah,
Um, but I
I
also
mean, for
don't.
the most part, you see concussion in NFL, and like
Can
for the
you
most
hear
part,
this just
that dude's
really
back in
loud?
practice next week.
I think they're using a bulldozer to clear snow outside my window right now. Welcome to New
I no,
Orleans.
I cannot hear anything,
Okay,
but
well that's a plus.
yeah, uh, yeah. Wait, what is the Saints? Who dat? Who dat?
Who dat? I think
Who
that's also
dat?
the
Yeah,
Bengals. Yeah.
that's who
Who
day.
day?
Bengals is who
Close.
day.
Who day to who dat? All right, but Bills and Chiefs, Grant. Yeah, you need to do some voodoo istic
Yeah,
stuff.
I may need to go call up some evil powers. May need to call up Urban Meyer. I may need to call up Alex Grinch. Just the most
Tom
vicious,
Brady.
disgusting football minds ever. I need to go get them all in a room together.
You need to have it be a circle.
Vic Fangio's in there. He's in that room.
All the cloaks and everything that you typically
Dr.
think
Blitz,
with VOODOO.
Greg Williams, he's in there.
In the middle is just a drawing. It's not like any like actual rituals. It's just a Tom Brady's face in the middle of the circle, like on the ground.
Yeah, or it's just the stat of Bill Belichick and the amount of top 10 defenses he's had every season with Brady. Just that stat is circled.
Tom,
Vontaze Burfict's leading the whole ritual.
Well, I think it's the first Harry Potter where Snape's mumbling like they're at the Quidditch match and Snape's like chanting and stuff. I'm thinking that, but it's just Tom Brady in a room alone. He's got his 7 rings in a circle in front of him, and he's just chanting like that. Just mumbling.
And then, like, in the 18th deck, top corner, you can hardly see him just peering out of the corner is Steve Belichick, just sitting there, just mouthing stuff. You have no idea what curse he's putting on Mahomes. But no, yeah, I want all of the most evil minds in football all together to help lead this curse with me. And we need to curse Mahomes. We need to curse Mahomes. We need to curse Travis Kelce. Andy Reid, we can leave.
D Ford is in there for some reason. D Ford's still in there for some reason.
Oh. It all started. I mean,
it all started with D Ford.
It all started.
There was one moment in history you can track all this back to, and it is D Ford offsides.
The second D Ford lined up offside, that's when the whole world started to COVID hit. Like a month.
Everything happened.
Like everything went downhill after D Ford, like an idiot sandwich, lined up offsides. If he doesn't line up offsides, Mahomes is going for number 5 right now. Oh my God.
Tom Brady would have 6.
And 6 does not hit the same as 7 because Jordan only has 6.
I will die on this hill.
The Brady 7 doesn't hit the same.
Mahomes would be the first player to three-peat. Brady would still have head-to-head on him. 2-0.
No, that is very true. But I'm just being on that the three-peat. If like I said it,
he still won a Super Bowl against them.
If Mahomes three-peats and then if he ever matches Brady.
Yeah, if he three-peats and matches,
if he three-peats and goes one less, I still think he gets that over Brady. I think he only needs 2 more.
I think it depends the quality of those two wins.
Actually, yes. For Brady, doesn't matter at all. Do not look up Tom Brady's stats in his Super Bowl wins. And please look up his stats in Super Bowl losses because he's elite when he loses. When he wins, he looks like Will Howard against Michigan out there. Okay. That's what Tom Brady looks like in Super Bowl wins.
Like for reference, if
28-3 is the only time Tom Brady played well in a Super Bowl.
If the Commanders are the team, honestly, either of these teams, but if the Commanders are the team
in a win,
if the Commanders are the team that make the Super Bowl against the Chiefs this year, like I don't count that as a quality Super Bowl win, assuming the Chiefs win that.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. Yep. You're right.
So that's the point. Like that's like
you're
a
right.
quarter of a win.
You're right, but it is still just like a three-peat. And
well, they would be going up against a rookie quarterback and the guy who lost a 28-3 lead.
Everett, we have brains. I'm talking in 30 years from now when like not me and you, we're talking the third guy at the table, the unnamed intern who is a admitted casual. We're talking about him who says, so you're just like, dude, he three-peated. I'm talking, you need the casual man to be like Mahomes go, like a unanimous world opinion. I think he
also really curious to me.
If he does this three-peat,
this shows you just how often the Chiefs are in this kind of game. The Eagles tickets, Grant, lowest ticket is $530. The lowest Chiefs ticket to the game, $200 to go to the conference championship game. $200.
Must be nice when you're a fan base and it's just like
it's a normal like game.
Given. Yeah, no, you're just like, oh yeah, we're back in it.
Sweet.
Nice. Yeah. So is we re-signing Pacheco or not? Like, you know, I don't even know what Chiefs fans are. I don't even know what they're you know what they're probably worried about Kansas City. Are they Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they're
Yeah,
worried about the
I'd
Royals
like to
right now.
institute the game.
That's
Granted,
what they're
I'd
concerned
like to
about. The Royals are
institute a game for the Chiefs game. It's not
okay.
it's not how many times Mahomes flops or anything like that. I want a shot every time Jawan Taylor gets away with a false start.
Well, you're gonna be taking a lot. You might be dead after the first drive. Uh, yeah. Here, this is the thing. Like J- Lane Johnson, Lane Johnson
He gets
knows what he's
away,
doing.
but yeah,
He gets away, but he knows he can get away going like when he goes. But like that's you don't do what Lane Johnson does
that's
unless
also
you've
like
been in the NFL for 9 years
that's
and
also
you
like
know that they won't
really
call you.
close. That's also like half a second between like when the ball snap and when he goes. Like it's not like
Jawan,
horrible.
what team was Jawan Taylor on before the Chiefs?
Jaguars.
When he was on the Jaguars, it got called. But when he moved to the Chiefs, now it's not called. That's why I have a problem with Jawan Taylor doing it. Because it was called 3 years ago, and now it's okay because he's on the Chiefs. No. You need to be a 10-year NFL vet to be able to do that.
You also
like
need
Lane
to be
Johnson.
good.
Well, you have to have a precedent set that you're very good, and when you do it, it's just like I'm just doing a smart. This is
Like I'll be honest, I've seen Brian O'Neill do that a couple times, and he's gotten away with it sometimes. But like,
but hey, Brian O'Neill isn't, he's not Lane Johnson status, but even
he's a top 10
established himself to refs. Like he might only be like year 5, but like if Wirfs did it, they're not calling it.
Yeah,
if O'Neill does it, they are not calling. If Darisaw does it, they're not calling it.
If like Tyler Guyton, who's currently on the Cowboys,
Jawan Taylor played for the Titans, it would be called. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It's just like, well, all right, that's just
like if Sawyer was still playing at right tackle or whatever tackle he was playing last year, 2 years ago, I guess now, they're getting called. He's getting called on that. 100%.
If there's any instance where Sawyer is in any slight semi-hold position, immediate flag, immediate holding.
Yeah,
that is another thing though. If you're a bad lineman, you will get called for holding more because it's quite obvious when you're holding. You get destroyed off the line.
Speaking of the Jags, though, by the way, I find it really funny. So they obviously they lost out on Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, all those guys. I find it really funny that the Bucs OC, Liam Cohn, he said no to them. And then they immediately fired Trent Balk. And he was like, okay, I'll come back and do an interview. I'll come back now. I'll go do an interview.
Yeah, I saw that. I've been like trying to semi follow along. I'll be honest, when it comes to Jacksonville, can't say I'm paying too close of attention personally.
Yeah, you don't need to.
But yeah, I
it is interesting though. If that happens, Todd Bowles would have put out 2 head coach candidates in 2 years, which is not something you'd expect out of Todd Bowles.
Yeah, I was immediately thinking of Riverboat Ron and how he gets owners fired, and could we somehow have a head coach fired with Bowles connection? But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
exactly.
But I just find it funny how the Jaguars immediately learned like the reason why they weren't getting the coach candidates they want was because they're GM. And then there's the Saints, and the Saints. One of the conditions I think was that they would fire Mickey Loomis. Like that's what a couple of these coaching candidates asked is like, you need to get rid of Mickey Loomis. They're like, no. Mickey Loomis was like then asked, by the way, he was like, people asked him, was like, yeah, so what makes like the Saints, attractive location or attractive destination for a head coach candidate? And he was like, yeah, we're one of 32 teams in the NFL. Like that we
are an NFL franchise.
That makes a head coaching job like pretty attractive. Like, yes, no, we are aware you are an NFL team. Might not seem like it at times. It really doesn't.
I think that is a problem with some of these NFL teams. They do operate under the belief that, well, we're the Cleveland Browns. There's so many people who are dying to come coach for us. No, true. That is true.
Like if the Browns offered me and you a job right now, we'd say yes immediately.
Among the crop of people you would want to coach your football team, you're not swaying anybody by being
definitely not a top candidate, by the way. Not a top candidate.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like among the guys you want to be your head coach, none of them are Like, oh yeah, you're right. The Cleveland Browns are an NFL team. I'll take it. No,
It is
like,
also, I don't know if it's just a thing that I've kind of noticed, but I feel like the teams, like the owners who run teams like a family versus the owners who are like, obviously they care about their people, but they're like, it's still a business at the end of the day. And like business is business. The teams that are like business is business typically are the teams that do much better. Like
look at
the
the Patriots.
but like the Cowboys family, Jaguars
Yeah,
kind of, but like
no, it is a problem.
Saints really are like, hey, we're family here. You Mickey, you're my guy. Like it's hard. Like you just don't move on.
Yeah, I mean the Saints, they have the same core locked up from when they lost the Minneapolis Miracle. Essentially, they're still like
Basically,
under contract
yeah,
for like
yeah.
another. They're on like Dodger deferral contracts,
Like
pretty much.
even the
Like,
Seahawks, like Pete still was in there for a while. Like
well, my problem with Pete is was not loyal to the Legion of Boom. I'll never understand for
true,
the rest of I'll
true.
never understand for the rest of my life.
Chargers were like that for a while too. They're like, hey, family, guys are family
Yeah, yeah,
to a degree. To a
yes,
degree, not
but
as
also
bad,
they're just
but
morons. They're also just idiots. So family or not, like you're not winning anything there. So,
yeah, true.
but I mean, in the sense though of being ran like a business, like I mean, look at the Dodgers. It is a
Yeah.
purely they each player they take in, you are truly just a number in the database.
Yeah, I guess there are like
them.
three
Like,
tiers. There are the guys who run it like a business, there are guys who run it like a family, and then there is just morons.
yeah, just idiots.
Those are the three tiers.
David Tepper, Carolina, idiots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oakland A's. Well, just the A's.
Yeah, both. Just moron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's just
saw
moron.
this year they will be known formally and officially among official sports like ESPN, whatever you say. They will be called the Athletics, but ever they do have a Sacramento patch on their jersey.
Oh,
They're not the
God.
Sacramento Athletics. There's no Sacramento in a title, but they do have a patch.
When was the last time you
city.
saw a homeless sports team out of their own choice?
Now, Washington football team, that's a nameless team. Still a great name, by the way.
But it has a
rolls off the tongue
location.
too well. No,
It has a
yeah, you're right
location.
though. I think this is literally the only time. When has there ever been a location-less
And
American sports
let me
team?
clarify. The Rays was not by choice. They're playing somewhere else, not by choice.
Oh yeah,
and they're still called
no.
the Rays. All right, like let's
Yeah,
clarify.
I'm saying they're like I was gonna say the Harlem Globetrotters, but they're Harlem.
Yeah, Harlem.
So like I literally think this is the first time it's ever happened. Can you think of anything? Like I literally
from
can't
now
think of
on,
anything else.
if you're ever ranking the worst team like ran organizations, there's only been one team to ever be homeless, Grant, and for that reason, they deserve the number one spot.
They literally are homeless. Like
They're homeless.
You're not. That's not an exaggeration. There's no overstatement there. They do not have a home as of today. This season, actually, for an entire baseball season, they are homeless.
Isn't it more
when
than
they
1 year?
go on the road? It's like in theory,
every
like
game's an away
a
game.
Temporary home. Like if you get what I'm saying, like
they're in foster care.
Kind of. Yeah.
They're in witness protection, essentially. That's what's going on right now.
That's it.
The A's are in witness
that's
protection.
A bit better.
The Oakland A's are in witness. Just the
good
A's
old WP.
The Athletics are in witness protection.
I don't. There's got to be a hilarious abbreviated term for witness protection program. I don't know what that is, but if I did know, that would have been the time to drop it. That would have gone triple platinum right there. But we need the Bills to win this game. Commanders, Eagles. Yeah, I mean,
that game was a legitimate toss-up.
And it's Nick Sirianni.
That game's a legitimate toss-up, but barring.
Well, okay, I was about to say playoff Dan Quinn.
He's been good.
Playoff Dan Quinn
is good.
Actually elite. Playoff Dan Quinn. Has he ever lost just a normal playoff game as a head coach? Because there's a chance he's never lost just a non Super Bowl playoff game. there's a chance he's undefeated.
Let's see. Dan Quinn playoff record postseason. Grant. He is 5.
Does he have one playoff?
Okay. Super Bowl and so one other game.
He's 5-1 in non-Super Bowl playoff games in his career. That's got to mean
Pretty
something.
Good.
That's got to mean something. All right. Yeah. I feel great about DQ.
Let me just see.
Now.
Dan
and
Quinn.
Cliff. And more so Cliff. Seeing Cliff stop the interviews, that's a man who's like, let my performance do my interview for me.
Dan Quinn lost those two games in
once the Patriots. Who did the Falcons lose to in the playoffs? I have zero clue. I'm gonna guess.
I'm looking.
Wait, quick guess. It's the Saints. I'm gonna guess they lost to the Saints, or it's the Vikings. It's Saint. I'm picking one of you. Saints or Vikings.
Let's see. Playoff loss. 2017. The 2017 was the Super Bowl year, so it had to be 2016 was Super Bowl year, so it had to be 2017.
Dan Quinn was only head coach for 1 year post Super Bowl. There was no way they fired him after 28-3, right? There's no way they fired him for making it to the Super Bowl in 28-3, right?
They lost to
When was Dan Quinn relieved of his duties in Atlanta? Because if it was after the Super Bowl,
they lost to the Eagles. He lost to the Eagles in the divisional round in that 2017-2018 season.
Oh, well, that's Nick Foles' year.
But that is this is a revenge game, Grant. This is a revenge game for Dan Quinn now. The last team he lost in the playoffs to, the team he's playing.
In that sense, yes, slight revenge game. But yeah, no, I mean Dan Quinn, he has rewritten the narrative. We are now kind of in an era where the general people talking about NFL Twitter are in high school, and there's a chance they don't even know he was head coach.
I'll be honest. If I had to listen to 28-3, like Falcons fans will always have to, but if I was Dan Quinn and I did hear 28-3 for however it's like the last 7 years, if I had to hear it for like the last 7 years, last 8 years, and I had to hear that every year, shit. The first year I have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to give it every single thing, more so than I would any other year. You try to get that off your back 100%. If he went this year and made it to the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback on a team that he just got, who was also had the second overall pick last year, I think I'd shut up the 28-3 people. I'd be able to do that.
Yeah. I think if Dan Quinn wins the Super Bowl this year, okay, first he'll rewrite his 28-3 narratives, but second, he'll be the only coach with a rookie quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
Ever make the Super Bowl. Ever make the Super Bowl.
Oh, to just even make
it. Make it.
So you knock two birds down with one stone there. But most importantly, Dan Quinn would be the first head coach to coach a visor-wearing quarterback to win a Super Bowl. That's Hall of Fame. Gold jacket.
But yeah, by that standard, we did this last episode. We eliminated the
Chiefs
Eagles.
Have won the Super Bowl.
We eliminated the Eagles because they lost
hair.
to Kirk Cousins. The Bills were eliminated because Josh Allen has long hair.
Does qualify.
And the Commanders were eliminated because one, rookie quarterback, but two, visor. Visor is the more important detail.
Yeah, no, rookie visor. What happens, oh my God, how do you even get this far? Like,
I might cry laughing though if Patrick Mahomes makes it to the Super Bowl and then he just decides game day puts on a visor. Like that, I mean that just to screw with it.
If Patrick Mahomes is wearing a visor during the Super Bowl, well, Everett, that means he's going to tear his ACL and Carson Wentz will be the winning quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You got to keep it. You got to keep it. You got to keep it. Oh my God! If Carson, hold on, real quick. If that happens and the Eagles make it, and Carson Wentz beats the Eagles,
wait, can Carson Wentz rewrite every narrative ever?
If that happens, I hope
the first play of the Super Bowl, Mahomes. It doesn't need to be like an ACL, but Mahomes
he's concussion out for the game.
He is out of the game, and Wentz comes in. I think he rewrites.
If that happens, and it's also against the Eagles.
And also because Carson, because I know Carson is pissed off that Nick Foles gets all the credit for that Super Bowl, and they don't care that Wentz was 14-1. Then he gets hurt last game of the season.
I think he might have. Yeah, he did have one loss. They were 14-1.
But
yeah,
Anyway,
Yeah.
but hey, Wentz, going off of how you feel, if you play one game, just the Super Bowl, and win it this whole season, you get full credit for every Mahomes
Everything.
stat this year.
Yeah.
Even though Mahomes stats weren't that good this year, all of it is yours. They all get transferred to you. That's how this works. That's how this works.
Hey, he'd have a job waiting for him at North Dakota State if he ever wanted it. Trey Lance, though, does not. Trey Lance does not have a job at NDSU.
I was hearing this the other day, and I think it just makes sense. If the Niners don't have Brock Purdy and Mr. Irrelevant playing on a rookie contract right now, John Lynch certainly would have been fired from the Niners. Yep. But Shanahan would have been safe.
He's in a situation. It's like a Tomlin situation kind of.
Shanahan was the one pushing for Lance, so maybe.
No, I know, but I know that, but also like, I mean, knowing what happened to Justin Fields, still obviously if he was on the 49ers, I think things turned out differently. But I think that Shanahan's kind of.
I'll be honest, at this point, I don't even know if Justin Fields would have worked out in the Niners. I mean,
he looked okay on the Steelers.
I love him. I will always love Justin.
I mean,
Fields,
I think
just got to accept
there are a few coaches. There are a few coaches that have gotten to a certain status where like they're safe even if their team is bad, and I think that Shanahan is one of those. Tomlin is one of those. Tomlin is definitely one of those. I
thought it would be Vrabel in Tennessee, but guess not.
Guess not. I mean, LaFleur is close. I don't think he's there yet, but he's close
for the most part.
KOC clearly is okay. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah. Obviously Andy Reid, but there is no reality with a Mahomes Andy Reid marriage that they're not the one seed in the AFC. So
John Harbaugh.
Oh, he's I mean, to be honest, Jim Harbaugh could do no wrong for the length of his contract. Whatever. He can do no wrong for the time being.
Oh, Sean McVay, 100%.
Oh, yeah, McVay. I would also say Sean McDermott, Bills is kind of, well, maybe not.
He's borderline. Actually. He's in the same borderline with LaFleur.
He's just been very consistent.
I think he's in the same category as LaFleur right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, if the Bills didn't make the playoffs this year, he would have.
To be fair, he did just take a team that you and I both in the preseason thought was going to be bad because their defense cut everybody. They just Thanos snapped it.
I mean, literally last offseason, we were sitting there. The Bills, they quite literally just downgraded everywhere, and the other team was also the Dolphins.
Clearly,
those two teams just downgraded everywhere, and it was like
apparently Zach Taylor's in that conversation because, under my opinion, he should be fired right now. But
the Ohio State Bengals fans that I follow have been out on Zach Taylor for at least 2 years now. I don't know.
Legitimately, it's just because he took him to a Super Bowl. That's it. It's because he took him to a Super Bowl. That's it.
Their ownership. I call out McCaskey Bears a lot. The Bengals owners are actually the worst in the NFL. They just had a Super Bowl roster and they were just like, nope, T. Higgins, bye.
Joe Brady is a head coaching candidate next year. See you later, Zach Taylor. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go hire that guy.
Do you mean next upcoming season or next cycle?
Next cycle. Oh, next cycle.
Yeah.
See you later.
I don't think Brady will have a head coaching offer this cycle, but
no. Next cycle. Next cycle. Yeah.
He's essentially. He is what Ben Johnson was 2 years ago. That's what Joe Brady's being he's going to be Ben Johnson next cycle.
Yeah, no, I
will be determined if it hits, but
I also think that the Bengals need an offensive guy, but if they don't make the playoffs next year, by the way, if Joe Burrow doesn't win comeback player of the year, because like what it should be is you're returning from injury, not just being bad. Like he should win it over Sam Darnold. Let's clarify that.
Well,
if he doesn't win that, that's crazy.
We were discussing this before, but Damar Hamlin, okay.
Yeah, it's the meme. Hold on, it's the meme where you have all the guys lining up with the rifles outside the door about to break in. And there's just the clown costume guy. Yeah, he's the clown.
Okay, yeah, okay. So Damar Hamlin. Let me start out by saying prayers for Damar. But
he's okay now. 2 years ago, very different situation.
Say it.
Prayers for Damar. Prayers for Damar.
Prayers for Damar. Thank you. But when Damar Hamlin came back from dying on the football field, I thought, I do not care. I don't care if Tom Brady comes out of retirement. Damar Hamlin's winning it. But then Everett, Joe Flacco created fantasy playoff David Njoku, and I mean, we didn't even have
The
we didn't
voters
have a
definitely
choice. It
had
had
Njoku
to
on
have
their
been
team. They had
Flacco.
Njoku
It
or
had
Flacco.
to it had to have been Flacco. So I understand, but you were asking, is he coming back from sucking? And to that, I say he never won comeback player of the year for dying on the football player. So if he does
On the
win it
field,
this year,
yeah.
it should be Burrow. But if he does win it, it's still for dying on the field and coming back.
So does that
Playoff
mean if he
Njoku
loses
happened,
this
so we had to
year,
put
which
it on
is
pause.
if he loses this year, which is probably likely to happen, does that mean he also is a comeback player
If
next
he
year?
loses
just
this
keep
year,
it,
then
keep this
it's
one.
official. The NFL's just like, your death. We literally do not care anymore. That's what that means. If he doesn't win it this year, that's now gone.
It doesn't. Don't the Bills have his numbers on the back of the ambulance now? Because I think I remember seeing that earlier this season.
They probably have DH16 on jersey patches, and he is on the team starting at safety. It's just like, all right.
I mean, look, I get it. Like, obviously, he came back from quite literally the worst possible injury that you could ever have on a football field. Like, it is a miracle what ended up happening.
Yeah, yes. No,
absolute miracle. Absolutely. We're not. Hey, like,
with that being said, if he makes a bad football play, he's fair to be criticized. Yeah. Last week when he gave up that long, I mean,
that plus also like he did play last year and he started this year. And he did not play well this year, Grant. Like, it's not like he was, like an all-pro safety,
but
Pro Bowl safety.
If you're not the Bills GM, but the assistant to the assistant GM on the Bills, the PR team's got to be in that dude's ear. Like, you need to ensure Damar can never be cut. The only way Damar Hamlin leaves this team is if he has to go to free agency. We can never cut Damar Hamlin ever. They can't. They can't.
I think he's on a rookie deal, by the way.
Well, yeah, that is the other
thing. In like 2 years.
I think he may be a free agent after. I mean, yeah, that like adds up with the timeline.
Next year, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm all
Jerry
for it.
Jones, you want a PR masterclass?
I'm all for it, but
I found
also
your Malik
like
Hooker replacement. I found him.
I did see obviously like it's still kind of up in the air what the rules are for comeback player of the year because they technically changed it, but they didn't. It was like it has to be coming back from injury.
Is there
but like
official guidelines
they
for that?
Changed
I thought it was
changed it after Flacco won it last year because they were pissed Damar didn't win it because he actually did die and came back and played. But they changed it to now it has to be coming back from injury. But then then Sam Darnold started to do well and all this other stuff. So they're like gray area. But if we really go off it, like Damar Hamlin's not coming off an injury from last season.
I just feel
Sam
like
Darnold's not coming off an injury from last season.
The epitome of a media narrative hype. It is quite literally the most narrative-driven hype award. They're not even trying to hide it.
If we really wanted to go off of performance, like it should be if it's performance-based. Joe Burrow's on there and he's coming off of injury. Sam Darnold's on there. Zach Bond, linebacker, Eagles. On there,
I love that shout. I love that shout
for special teams. Now, by the way,
I love that.
I will.
Even
an off-season wish list
was really good last
year.
An
off-season wish list. I even said to cut him 2 years ago. I remember said cut Zach Bond 2 years ago. I remember it. So hey, I'll stand on it. Zach Bond would be on there. So like there are guys who, if you really want to do it that way, that should be on there, not based on injury. So I don't know, but Joe Burrow.
Jackson Mahomes also qualifies for comeback player of the year because he's not annoying anymore. So
yeah, and TikTok got temporarily deleted, so he was really going through it. So that is a comeback now.
Hey, I'll be honest. If there's one, with Taylor Swift entering your club box at Arrowhead. With literally the biggest superstar on the planet other than BTS. Yeah, that's right, Swifties. You know who's real king in the pop music industry. It's not you, it's BTS. But the queen of American music walks into your club box, and the amount of self-restraint it took Jackson Mahomes to not make that about himself, we have to give him a round of applause. Like we have to give him a round of applause. How he did not make that about himself.
No idea. Snaps. Yeah, finger snaps.
Snaps. I mean, seriously, I'm not even trying to lie. Like Patrick Mahomes, the conversation he had with Jackson and his wife after the champagne incident like 2 years ago
That was
was
last
the most
season.
serious.
I think it was early. Was it early
I
last
think
season?
that was 2 years ago. It's been a while. Last year was all Taylor Swift. I think it was 2 years ago. But anyway, I'm gonna give Mahomes credit.
2022, January 25th,
I'm gonna give Mahomes
2022.
credit though, because yeah, all that stuff cut out, gone. It was the most serious
and he didn't
intervention of all
sacrifice
time.
his family relationship like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Aaron Rodgers, to deal with his family problems. Oh, you know what he did? He quite literally blocked them from his phone and never associated with them for the rest of his life. Patrick, I got to give him credit. Hey, he told Jackson, hey, if you're going to dance on Sean Taylor's logo memorial patch on the field, like, you're getting punished by me now. Like, no, Jackson, that was really bad. Really bad. But yeah, I think that's all the NFL news.
Do you think that the Commanders play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? They have a revenge game now because of that with Jackson Mahomes.
Breaking news: the DOJ provided audio of Ippei Mizuhara impersonating Shohei Ohtani on a call with the bank. It was
so did he just speak in Japanese?
Part of a new sentencing recommendation. Yeah, that was probably not very difficult to do.
Yeah, he definitely just spoke in Japanese.
Yeah, impersonating if anyone who speaks Japanese in the United States made that phone call, the person on the other line would have believed it was Shohei Ohtani.
Long as it was a male and you knew a decent amount of Shohei. Female.
They're like, hey, maybe he has a high voice. Okay.
Well, Shohei's well known enough where you probably, like, especially in LA, I'm assuming that's where the bank was, like, to talk about it. Like, actually, I don't know. Maybe it was.
Well, this Japan. May have been the Puerto Rico offshore bank. I don't know.
No, honestly, they definitely knew. If it's an offshore bank, they definitely knew it's not Shohei, and they're just like, it's business. All right, we'll go.
Yeah, it's just like, Ippei's just having some fun.
It's like the Swiss banks in Wolf of Wall Street. We're like, oh no, we clearly know this is wrong, but we'll do it anyways.
Yeah, but God, that is what a headline! What a headline!
Yeah, we can. We'll probably wrap up with that. Actually, great way to wrap up the episode. Yeah, but with that,
hey, I mean, I did hear. Sorry, but I've heard completely true, definitely not false reports that Roki personally asked for Ippei to translate all of his meetings, not just with the Dodgers, but every MLB team that he spoke to before making his decision. He wanted Ippei specifically to translate.
You're like joking with me, right?
Yeah, no, obviously it's made up. But
no, he's just in prison. He's on the phone talking to them. It's one of the dial-up.
I don't know this for confirmation, but I'm pretty sure it was stated before any of the stuff came out, right after Yamamoto signed. I'm pretty sure it was like a piece revealed that Ippei will only be Shohei's translator. Like the translator last season that ended up being both theirs, I believe he was assigned start of the year just to be Yama's translator.
No, no, they needed a guy in-house.
Even from the get-go, it was extremely sus. Why is Ippei only willing to translate for Shohei?
Well, I think Shohei just wanted Ippei. Like, that was just like their dynamic was just.
Ippei was Shohei Ohtani. You gotta keep that.
Yeah.
Anytime, it could be the McDonald's worker at the drive-thru. Ippei's talking for Shohei. And we do not know what Ippei told back to Shohei in Japanese after he heard things. We do not know what he told Shohei.
Well, some people do know. People who actually speak Japanese know, but
sure. But it is a contract negotiation, and they're talking about 700 million deferrals.
Yeah, in that room, yeah. But I'm guessing that there is also a second translator in that room on the other side.
Well, now the
definitely
we may have 3 translator per Japanese slayer we have on the team, and we're gonna need to hire 3 more next summer when our goat Munetaka Murakami comes. So yeah, like We need to have a full starting rotation
I'm
of
hearing that
translators.
when the Dodgers had their second meeting with Roki Sasaki at the Bel Air Mansion, Shohei Ohtani was there, and Shohei Ohtani brought his dog, and that was the key selling point. It was Shohei's dog, Decoy.
There is a all right. There's a chance that Decoy is the second most important Japanese creature alive today, behind Shohei. Yeah, no, Decoy's over Yama and Roki. We just got to be honest. We just got to tell the truth when it's real. Like Decoy is more important than Yamamoto.
Unfortunately, yeah. No, we got to make him the bat dog. No more bat boys, just Decoy.
Yeah, I mean, I am also just thinking like, oh my god, Shohei's kid might be the greatest baseball player in the history.
Yeah, his mom,
He might just be
his wife
a
is
pro
also
in.
a athlete, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's a
She's
basketball player and she's wet. I saw some highlights. She is wet, like absolutely gross, just raining it. It's like Caitlin Clark. I'm like, what am I watching? Holy shit! But yeah, I mean, it runs in the
Yeah, if that
family.
kid is not at least 6 foot and jacked, we might need a
Well,
parental
I believe
investigate like
Shohei's
test.
wife is 6 foot,
That's why I'm saying
and
I said
Shohei's
at
six.
least 6 foot and not
Oh,
a big
that
creature.
kid's gonna be at least 6'3". I don't
But
know
I'm
what
saying if he
HGH
ends up being
genetics
like
he's gonna
five,
get
if he ends up
infused
being
into
like
him.
5'8", we might need a parental test. Something's fishy going on.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. But he could just be the next Mookie Betts, just 5'9", 170, hitting 40 bombs, 40 bags a
I
year.
say Shohei has that kid now, and then we can get Shohei Ohtani and his kid by the time Shohei's playing career's done. It'd be close. Be
It'll be
close call.
tough.
Be
It'll
real
be
close.
tough. If Roki
Probably
had a
wouldn't
son
happen.
right now, they probably wouldn't even ever play together. So
He's 17, isn't he?
Roki's
Oh no,
22.
he's 22. I'm thinking
Like
of
22,
I'm thinking of a
21.
different Japanese pitcher that's coming up right now.
Well, we signed a Japanese pitcher, uh, or a Korean pitcher last cycle, like with Ohtani and Yama. He was 18 years old though.
That's who it was. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, hey, the other thing is, last year before the season, I'm not sure if you remember, we traded away Michael Bush for two prospects.
Yeah,
One
you
of them
want to
was
say who those
Jackson
prospects?
Ferris.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them was Jackson Ferris. That was the main guy in the trade. Jackson Ferris, I believe, is bottom 100, but still a top 100 prospect right now. The other kind of a last second toss in player included was Zaire Hope. Now, the Dodgers, if I were to imagine how the trade went, I would imagine, all right, for Bush, how about you give us Ferris and why don't you toss in Hope?
Yeah, Jonas Hill character would not let that fly.
The whole time, Hope was the main trade piece. The whole time, it was all about Hope. It was never about Ferris. Ferris is the distraction. Hope is the main goal of this trade. And they get Hope, and Zaire Hope is now the number 8 prospect in the MLB.
You know, Jonah Hill's character in Moneyball would be whispering in that GM's ear so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
quickly.
Jonah Hill would be like me with Diego Cartaya 2 years ago. Not for sale, Brad Pitt. Not for sale. Yeah, that would have been it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up here though. So thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me on Twitter at Everett's Takes and at WaterboyGrant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok, so make sure to follow us there at the Waterboy Pod. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.